You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go there. Mega Man 01 is fire, and it's about time it get the proper attention to the right details it deserves. Glue that booty to your chair and watch me not shut up for about like 10 minutes, or less, or more. I don't know, man. Game's just great, alright? Just a disclaimer before I begin. Today's subject matter will admittedly be addressing things various other content creators on this platform have stated about the game. If you're one of these creators, I implore you to not feel personally attacked or called out. This video was not made with any malicious intent, nor with the aim to invoke any drama. I'm just putting my 2 cents on aspects of the game that weren't explored enough, and using commonly spoken criticism against it as the basis for my points. 01. The one game that's been through so much scrutiny, and is pegged by many to be suffering from first game syndrome, as the cool kids like to call it. Over the years, I've been a spectator to the recurring boxing match that 01's part of, and seeing the game get clapped back and forth for its rough edges has been quite the spectacle. I mean, the game kicked a lot of booty too. I see constant comparisons to it being the Dark Souls of Mega Man or some silly stuff like that, and to be fair, while it's not as hard to a newcomer as it's exaggerated to be, the game is pretty freaking hard for the standards of most platformers out there. People really like to beat on the game for not only the difficulty, but for a myriad of other reasons too. I should know. I was one of the many who donned some boxing gloves and just punched the shit out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. For the longest time, 01 was the weakest in the series for me. I thought the combo system was even more shallow than 02's at the time. I hated the revisits. I mean, I still do to an extent, but I can at least appreciate how creative they were with us going back to the stages. And Lord knows I hated that goddamn stag. But like, what if I told you that's not the case anymore? Oh no, in fact, I'd go as far as to say it's way better than what it's given credit for. There's so much more to it than meets the eyes, and it's oh so sweet. No, I'm not saying it's better than you, 03. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not cheating on you, okay? You immaculate masterpiece, you... So like, what's my deal, eh? Frivolities aside, my mission here today is to finally give this game its formal respect it deserves. My recent remastered no damage run of the game only served as a visual representation of the claims I'm about to make here. Let me make something abundantly clear here first. I'm not here to BS you and claim this game's perfect. It's got plenty of flaws that are valid and worth criticizing, and trust me, everyone I've known under the sun has relentlessly beaten that dead horse until it turned into mush. So if you're expecting me to whine about the leveling system, we'll get to that later. Or the Cyber Elf and retry systems? Nope, we don't do regurgitation here. In the grand scheme of things, this video is here to serve one purpose, that the good supremely outweighs the bad. And that's always looked over when I see a critic or journalist have a heart attack. Yeah, I'm looking at you over there, Aztec Falcon. Chill out. I got you later, bro. So here's how I'll structure this video's talking points, so I won't lose you and sporadically go off on tangents. I'll name a common grievance that's not the typical E-Crystal grind bad stuff. I'll expound upon it more and give insight into the design philosophies that pertain to the grievance. Then I'll provide an overall solution that gives insight into how the experience can be enriched. Alright, let's get it. The sub-weapons are bad. Excuse me? I'm sorry, but no, that's far from the truth. A common complaint is that once you've acquired the triple rod and shield boomerang, you've already gained sufficient enough levels for your buster or saber, or grinded them to max, that they'd be useless, that leveling the two up will simply add on more unnecessary grind time and you can simply charge attack with the saber and buster all the way and still achieve the optimal, I hate that word by the way, results. That's simply untrue. In fact, both of these weapons become instantly useful upon attaining them. The point of the sub-weapons is not to replace the saber or buster. Those two are the easiest to use, so by default, a newcomer will naturally be more attuned to using what's familiar and already working for them. Those two weapons were designed to be all-purpose, so a newcomer won't struggle to destroy obstacles and bosses on their first go-around. I mean, what's Zero without his saber? The point of the sub-weapons is to add to your toolbox, not replace existing tools. The pogo effect from the triple rod is only the icing, my dudes and dudettes. You only need one poke from the triple rod to do a basic infinite loop in unison with the saber. And there's no rocket science to it either, just slash, then poke, then slash again. The multi-directional angles you can thrust toward makes the triple rod extremely versatile. Still, keeping low iframe combos going on enemies like Anubis and Hercules are just two of many examples of what the Saber and Buster can't do by themselves when you're trying to efficiently take out a boss. Woohoo-wee! Don't even get me started on the boomerang. It literally has an exploit where it cancels the Saber animation early to slash again, making it an even faster infinite combo. I mean, I absolutely hate using it because it feels like a cheesier, brain-dead version of rod loops that take very minimal effort outside of minor timing, but the fact that this is usually a primary quick kill tool for a lot of players of all skill levels, yeah, I'm failing to see how bad and situational that is. That's not to mention damage stacking. You know me, I've already got you covered on that from part 2 of my Zero Series tech guide, so give that a look-see at the card sliding on in the upper right of the screen. But for the sake of clarity in this specific video, just because this is an advanced technique doesn't mean that a less skilled player can't utilize it. Like, yeah, maybe you won't be able to do this pogo version of it that I'm showing on screen, but you could just, just toss the thing and slash it when it hits something sturdy. Useful outside killing mini bosses too. I need to make a separate video on breaking down Zero One's combo system because the intricacies of learning which attacks inflict the shortest iframes on bosses and the flexibility of your arsenal in conjunction is near on par with Zero 3 when you know how to structure combos. And yeah, you can do all of this crap with just 1 star of each sub-weapon. You don't even need to level up the boomerang at all to get the most mileage out of it. That's not even gnawing at the surface with more advanced stun lock combos with the charged rod via elements. Speaking of that, you need to grind your weapons to enjoy the game. What? No, you don't even need to. Look, I don't know how else to say this without coming off as a know-it-all jerkwad, because it's not like this isn't the 50th time I've said something blunt that got taken out of context in a triggered comment, am I right? So I'm just gonna say it. This is an egregious claim. Even though I will concede that Zero at least needed the triple slash from the beginning, because Zero 3 and beyond finally got that one right. It's not a huge deal when by the time you get to Aztec Falcon, you'll already have the double slash, which is all you need to YOLO him if you don't care about getting hit a lot. The triple slash will, ironically, only get you in more trouble because it's longer inflicted iframes. Not to mention, all you need is the double slash to do max damage combo loops, outside of the charged rod. When you consider the acquisition of skills is based on how you attack an enemy, you can get all of your essential skills by simply playing the game and prioritizing the weapons that you personally get the most mileage out of. At no point do you need to grind, except for like the quick charge skills that can jump right off of a hill. I don't know what they were thinking about that. But at the same time, you don't need the quick charge either. Wanna know why? Because if you are given such a powerful tool for your infinite combos without working for it, or have it so early in the game where the bosses and stages weren't designed around it, thus trivializing the hell out of them, what's that saying about Inti Creates' ability to balance their game? Z1 may be rough around the edges, but Inti sure does know their shit when it comes to making their players work to acquire the busted tools. The bosses were clearly designed around your growth, no matter which order you decide to take them on. Only when you've played the game more than once will you discover a more personalized route. That's why I encourage people to play however they like, but also don't be afraid to jump out of their comfort zone every once in a while. You may discover a whole new fun way to play the game if you're more open-minded to it. Like, this is actually something I need to make its own video for, don't I? Hey, 2016 Magnus, should I do the thing, make level grinding a separate video? Do the thing. Also, give me some tissues, please. Gross. Yeah, separate video it is. And, don't ask, I've recently acquired a time machine. He's lying. Hey, shut up! But for the sake of today, nah, you don't need to grind at all. If you give me a couple weeks, I'll be able to articulate it much better on why without any time constraints in another video. Because, whoo boy, this is getting too long, isn't it? So, let me get to the last point. The difficulty ruins the game. I'd argue otherwise. Zero's no different than any other Mega Man game. Memorization was always a fundamental design, and while games like X4 were way too easy to where you could eke by without memorization, saying Zero One's difficulty ruins the game is like comparing it to X6. And actual broken game with some of the stupidest level design imaginable. There's a reason why Mega Man has a reputation for overall high difficulty. All of the games, in some way or another, encourage multiple playthroughs to memorize enemy placement, boss strategies, and or patterns, as well as understanding how the game works on a technical level by simply experimenting and trying new things with each new playthrough. That's why they're generally just over hour-long campaigns. Oh lordy. I can hear the crusty fingers angrily clacking from afar, ready to rage at me and say, "Oh, shut up, Magnus, you're good at the game. Us normal people can't play like you and enjoy it the way you can." Like, when did I ever say or imply that through any of my videos that discuss things like this? The moment you start putting me or someone else good at the game on a pedestal, you're missing the bigger picture. You don't have to no damage the game or speed run it or even be stylish in it. If you have the resources and tools to learn about the game and want to have more fun with it, nothing's stopping you from using the tech. No skill gap is barring you from that. You don't even need to do stuff perfectly, and hell, you can die a few times even if you're really good at the game. I mean, that's precisely why the End My Suffering segments exist in my recent no damage runs, to show the human side of the process that goes into playing these games the way I do. And if you've watched the EMS segments of my Zero Run Remastered especially, you'd see that even I make some ridiculously stupid mistakes, occasional bad judgment, or just executed a tech poorly. I could guarantee you that if I were in a more favorable living situation and I could stream my casual playthroughs, you'd see that I would die quite a number of times. I'm not a god. Ex-Maverick Hunter isn't a god. Speedrunners aren't gods. We're literally just normal dudes and dudettes who've learned to play well enough to mitigate mistakes, but we do make them. I can promise you that if you can chat with any other high-level player other than me in a neutral setting, they tell you the same thing. And like, yeah, I freaking get it. The retry chip system blows, but you know what? That's literally why Save Assist exists in the Zero ZX collection. Zero One with Save Assist is the definitive way to play Zero One, no matter your skill level. It completely bypasses that issue. I freaking use it when I'm playing off record. Messiah Rambo used it to practice his speed runs, and have you seen how fucking good that guy is at the games? Yeah, it's not on the base game on the Game Boy, sure, but the collection is the most accessible version of the game, and what you'd likely be playing it on in modern day. And like, if you don't like the idea of Save Assist, you can literally just turn it off? That's what self-imposed challenges are. The Zero series follows the same design philosophy as the other games in this order. Get your ass kicked on the first playthrough, learn from those mistakes instead of getting angry at them, memorize the key points of a level and boss, experiment with all of your arsenal, then apply what you've learned in future playthroughs. Throughout all of that, you're indirectly getting better at the game just because you're playing it repeatedly, which is what developers want you to do with their game. You're invested because you're having fun. And like, no, I'm not telling you to play the game back to back from playthrough to playthrough unyielding. I get a common complaint that I'm not wasting all my time on one game, and I have to bluntly reply, no one's telling you to do that. Before I started uploading Mega Man content seriously for this channel, I'd have months to like a year gap between playing certain Mega Man games, and still retain what I've learned because I had fun with every subsequent playthrough I did, and it stuck like super glue. I didn't have to sit in front of the same game for weeks to months. I split it up over the years and still kept the experience fresh while being able to enjoy other games. Zero One may have rough edges, but it's still fundamentally, at its core, a Mega Man game, and considering its deep technicality of its gameplay, that alone enriches the experience to where the flaws are mere annoyances to weave through on the first playthrough or two, unless you're a die-hard 100% completionist for every single playthrough. If you are, you poor soul. You've got every right to give this game the middle finger. I give you my Magnus seal of approval on that one. Also, this video just made me realize I need therapy.